There comes a moment, quiet but undeniable, when a woman realizes she was never meant to blend in, a moment when the mask of just enough no longer fits, a moment when she stares into the mirror and says, "There is more in me, there is fire, there is royalty." This moment is not loud. It doesn't come with applause. It's not a spotlight. It's a spark that says you were never average. You've just been playing small. And today that spark becomes a flame, core message. The journey from average to magnetic, let's be honest. Most of us are raised to conform, to follow the rules, tick the boxes, and wait for permission. We're taught to be liked, to be polite, to be palatable, but queens are not remembered for their politeness. They're remembered for their presence. A queen doesn't ask for a seat at the table. She builds the table. She defines the room, and not because she's the loudest, but because she knows exactly who she is. The truth is, you don't become magnetic by trying to be everything to everyone. You become magnetic by being fully yourself, unapologetically, consistently, and relentlessly. And that's the hard part, isn't it? Because rising isn't comfortable. Rising means shedding. Shedding the roles you were told to play. Shedding the fear of judgment. Shedding the version of you that played it safe in exchange for the version of you that plays to win. And it starts with belief. Not belief in your talent or your resume, but belief in your worth. You can't lead anyone if you're still begging for your own approval. A queen rises not because the world says she's ready, but because she decides she is. The shift, the internal revolution, you don't have to be born with a crown to wear one, but you do have to claim it. And claiming it means making a new vow, not to be perfect, but to be powerful. It means leading with integrity when it's inconvenient, speaking with clarity when it's easier to stay silent, holding your boundaries like a throne, not a wall. It's about walking into rooms with the energy that says, "I don't need to prove myself. I just need to be myself." And let me tell you this, when you own your story, your scars become your strength. Your authenticity becomes your advantage, and your energy, it becomes magnetic. Because true magnetism isn't about drawing people to you. It's about inspiring them to rise with you. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes that the role she's been playing no longer fits. Maybe it's the silence she's maintained in meetings where her ideas were better. Maybe it's the way she's laughed along at jokes that left her spirit uneasy. Maybe it's the quiet ache she feels at the end of the day when everything looks perfect on the outside. But inside, she knows she's been living a version of herself crafted to be acceptable rather than exceptional. That moment is not dramatic. It doesn't come with confetti or thunder. It's usually quiet, subtle, but it is unmistakable. It's the moment when something inside says, "I can't do this anymore. I was meant for more." That's the beginning of the breakthrough. So many women are conditioned from a young age to be pleasing, to be humble, to avoid being too much. They learn how to navigate systems not by standing tall, but by becoming smaller, shrinking their opinions, dulling their light, softening their edges. It's not done out of weakness, it's survival, but over time, survival becomes a prison. A woman who forgets her power becomes a stranger to herself, and no crown can sit steadily on the head of someone who believes she must stay invisible to stay safe. Blending in might keep you comfortable, but it will never make you come alive. And the truth is, you were never designed to play a background role in your own story. That whisper inside you, the one that keeps asking for more, is not delusion. It's direction, it's not vanity, it's vision. You were not born to be average. You were not created to simply check boxes, stay quiet, or exist in the shadows of your potential. You were born to lead, to impact, to influence, and to shine. Not occasionally, but consistently. And it doesn't take a dramatic overhaul to begin. It starts with noticing the places where you've been performing instead of living. It starts with questioning the stories you've accepted as truth. It starts with realizing that the version of you who's been playing small is not the full expression of your power. It's just the one who learned how to survive. The real you, the one who laughs without asking for permission, who speaks without shrinking, who dreams without limits. That version is not a fantasy. She's a return to truth. You don't rise by mimicking others. You rise by remembering yourself. You rise by getting honest about what you've settled for, who you've pretended to be, and what you truly desire. The moment you decide to stop living by someone else's script is the moment you begin writing your own. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. People may not understand, but you don't owe anyone comfort at the cost of your own becoming. Your greatness won't be unlocked by blending in. It begins the moment you realize that standing out isn't arrogance, it's alignment. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to break through. There is a lie that many of us have unknowingly swallowed, that if we work hard enough, stay humble enough, and wait patiently enough, someone will eventually recognize our worth and hand us the life we deserve. That someone will see our potential, validate our value, and crown us with the authority and influence we've quietly earned. But the truth is, the crown doesn't come from anyone else. It's not something given. It's something claimed. It's a conscious, courageous decision to rise, to stop waiting, to stop asking, and to start *owning who you already are. Many women live their entire lives deferring their power, convinced they must first be chosen. Chosen by a boss, a partner, a mentor, a society that has conditioned them to believe that external approval is the gateway to internal permission. But no one can give you what you haven't already decided to give yourself. The world reflects back what you project, and when you move like you are waiting for confirmation, it responds with more silence. Claiming your crown is not about ego. It is not about walking into a room and demanding recognition. It's about walking into a room knowing you belong, whether anyone claps or not. It's about no longer outsourcing your confidence to someone else's opinion. It's choosing to lead yourself before you ever lead others. It's saying, "I am ready," even when your knees are shaking and your doubts are loud. Power doesn't come from waiting until you feel fearless. It comes from choosing in spite of the fear. That choice isn't always easy. It requires shedding layers of identity that were built on compliance and perfectionism. It means letting go of the desire to be liked by everyone and deciding, instead, to be respected by yourself. It's choosing alignment over applause. It's stepping out of the version of you that was created to survive and stepping into the version of you that was born to lead. When a woman claims her crown, she begins to operate with a different kind of clarity. She stops begging and starts building. She stops proving and starts positioning. She no longer waits for validation. She embodies her value, and that energy is unmistakable. It doesn't shout, but it commands. It doesn't demand attention, but it draws it. Because when you're no longer seeking to be chosen, you begin to act like someone who already knows she's worthy. The crown isn't reserved for those born with it. It's for the woman who decides to stop playing small. It's for the one who chooses to rise, not because she has everything figured out, but because she's tired of playing a version of herself that doesn't reflect her truth. Every step she takes in self-trust, every boundary she sets, every moment she shows up for her vision, those are the moments she shapes her crown, piece by piece, choice by choice, not given but claimed. Authenticity is not a trend or a buzzword. It is a life-changing decision. It is the choice to no longer wear masks, to no longer shift in order to be accepted, to no longer filter your truth to fit into someone else's comfort zone. It's the decision to be fully, radically yourself, even in a world that often rewards performance over presence. And while it sounds simple, authenticity is one of the most courageous acts a woman can commit to, because it means walking away from the illusion of safety and stepping into the power of self-trust. From a young age, many women are taught to adapt, be agreeable, be likable, don't be too loud, too bold, too ambitious, too opinionated. Be soft enough to soothe others, but not so soft that you're seen as weak. Be strong but not intimidating. Be confident but not arrogant. This conflicting messaging becomes a trap that disconnects women from their natural power. They become masters at reading a room, adjusting their tone, shrinking their opinions, and morphing into whatever version of themselves feels safest in the moment. But all of that comes at a cost, the cost of authenticity. And what is lost in that process is not just self-expression, it's magnetism. The magnetic woman is not the most polished, the most perfect, or the most pleasing. She is the most true. People are drawn to her not because she's trying to be everything to everyone, but because she's unapologetically herself. Her energy is consistent, grounded, and real. She doesn't walk into a room trying to measure up. She walks in knowing she already does. When you choose authenticity, you begin to realign with who you were before the world told you who to be. You reconnect with your natural rhythm, your unfiltered thoughts, your deepest values. You speak from your soul, not from a script. You begin to move through life with clarity because you're no longer asking, "What do they want from me?" but rather, "What is true to me?" That shift in questioning changes everything. It shifts your relationships, your work, your goals, and even your self-worth. Authenticity is also the antidote to imposter syndrome. When you're living out a version of yourself that you think others want, of course it feels fraudulent. But when you stand in your truth, speak your mind, and live by your own values, there is no imposter. There is only alignment. And alignment feels like freedom. It feels like exhaling after years of holding your breath. It feels like stepping into your skin and saying, "This is me, and that is enough." You don't have to share every part of yourself to be authentic. You simply have to be honest with yourself first. Honest about what you feel, what you need, what you believe, and what you're no longer willing to compromise. That kind of honesty radiates. It draws the right people toward you and repels the wrong ones. It simplifies your life because it removes the guesswork. It strengthens your voice because you're no longer rehearsing lines. You're speaking your truth. Boundaries are a declaration of self-respect. They are not a sign of coldness or distance. They are the framework for your freedom. When a woman sets boundaries, she's not closing off the world. She's protecting her peace, her purpose, and her potential. She's drawing a clear line that says, "This is who I am, and this is what I will and will not accept." It is one of the most powerful ways she can honor herself in a world that constantly asks her to give more, be more, and sacrifice more. Too often, women are conditioned to believe that saying yes makes them more valuable, more lovable, more worthy. They are taught that accommodating others, at any cost, is noble. They are praised for being selfless, but rarely taught the difference between selflessness and self-abandonment. So they give and give and give, until they are depleted, bitter, overwhelmed, or quietly resentful. They stretch themselves thin in relationships, overextend at work, tolerate disrespect in silence, and confuse patience with passivity. But slowly their energy dims, their confidence erodes, their needs are buried beneath everyone else's comfort. Boundaries change that. Boundaries are not barriers to connection. They are bridges to authentic relationships. They are how we teach people how to treat us. Without boundaries, you become a container for everyone else's chaos. With boundaries, you become the architect of your own life. You no longer live on defense, you live by design. You no longer react, you choose. You decide who gets access to your time, your energy, your heart, and your mind. A woman who holds strong boundaries walks differently. She doesn't over-explain her no. She doesn't tolerate manipulation disguised as love. She doesn't let guilt override her instincts. She understands that every time she compromises her own values just to keep the peace, she's making a silent agreement to betray herself. And that is a price she is no longer willing to pay. Setting boundaries doesn't make life easier. It makes it clearer. It shines a light on who is truly aligned with your growth and who is only attached to your compliance. Some people will resist your boundaries. They'll call you selfish, distant, or difficult. But that's not a reflection of your boundary. It's a reflection of their discomfort with your evolution. And your growth will always be inconvenient for those who are comfortable with your silence. The process of building boundaries is a process of building self-trust. Every time you honor your limit, you affirm your worth. Every time you say no to something that drains you, you're saying yes to something that sustains you. It's not about becoming rigid, it's about becoming rooted. Rooted in your values, in your truth, and in the vision you have for your life. It's not your job to manage everyone's emotions. It's not your responsibility to be everything to everyone. It is your responsibility to take care of your soul, to protect your peace, and to show up for your life in a way that feels powerful, not performative. Boundaries are not a punishment, they are an invitation. An invitation to treat yourself like someone who matters.